That was quality, that was quick, and that's a cue, a big, bold cue next to India because India have qualified for the semi-finals. You're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami. I have Joyda and Simon with me. But what has just happened? Because I almost felt like we were here like 15 minutes ago. A 302-run win is what India have just, the words destruction, annihilation, devastation, all of that. I think we need to find a new word in the dictionary because this is just unfair. Just 19.4 overs is what Sri Lanka played and 55 is all they managed and they were all out. But Simon, what has just happened?
It's staggering. It really is staggering how good this bowling attack have been. And to a man, it's not just about one man. I mean, I know Shami, another 5 for that. He's only played 3 games in the tournament now. He's got 14 wickets. But to a man, the way that Bumrah started, Siraj started, the just relentless nature of those 3 seamers. I think that's one of the words you could use. Is they are relentless. They give you nothing. And when you can't get Bumrah away, Siraj is at you at the other end. As soon as they disappear, Shami is in the attack. It is just phenomenal. Look, Sri Lanka will be bitterly disappointed with how they have been, but don't get me wrong, there were not a lot of really poor shots. There was just some high quality, fast and swing bowling. And it was only an hour ago we were here, wasn't it?
It feels like right now.
Something like that. I mean,
not even managed to have dinner today, have we, right?
It's been ordered, but we can't go and have it.
But Joyda, it almost feels like when we used to play gully cricket and when you're just completely outplayed, you're like, ye count nahi hota hai, we have to have a rematch. Because it just felt like, you didn't know what they were hit by.
Absolutely. And I mean, the word he used, I think that is the one word, relentless. And even the, great times of the Australians used to talk about, if Lilly doesn't get you, Tomo must, when that attack was there. But rarely do you have 3 fast bowlers who's operated this way and with this much accuracy and precision. And all 3 of them were so good to watch. I mean, when Shami came in, you say, what's he going to do? Because, 4 wickets are down. He goes and takes the next 5. That's the quality of attack that you're seeing out here. And all of them are so high class. And it's not as if, look, if you look at that, there were maybe a couple of wickets where the batsmen threw their wickets away. But at least 8 of those wickets were just absolutely brilliant. They were wicket-taking deliveries. There was not scoreboard pressure because after the second over, nobody was even thinking about the scoreboard. So it was just them trying to stay in the crease like a test match and the bowlers getting them out, prizing them out of them. And most of them were absolutely peaches of deliveries. I mean, to see that quality of bowling over 12, 13 overs from a set of 3 fast bowlers is incredible.
This is the best news for Indian fans because, we have always really wanted top-class bowling and this is probably the best bowling attack that India have seen. But Simon, you're in the studio, so we have to make the most of it. We will go one by one. Okay. We'll start with what Shami did because he is now taken over everyone and has become the highest wicket taker for India in World Cup history. He's got 14, he's got 42 wickets there in World Cup history. And yet again, that number you said, there's a 1-5 for 4 and then he's got 5 again, a total of 45 wickets in the World Cup history.
I mean, and I love Zach. Zach, in subcontinent conditions, he and Chaminda Vaas, the 2 best left armers, along with Wasim Akram, who have ever come out of the subcontinent. And look at the number of matches Shami has taken, less than Zahir. 23 for Zahir, 14 only for Shami, and he's gone past them already. They are staggering numbers. When you compare the matches played to the wickets taken, I mean, Javagal Srinath, he was no slouch either. Bumrah, exceptional. We think about Bumrah. He's played 16 matches for 33. And then you look at Shami. They're just unbelievable numbers.
He's averaging over 3 wickets a game.
Yes.
He's averaging 5 now, 5 point something in this World Cup. 14 wickets at 5 average. Look, the best seam presentation in world cricket. Why was he left out of the early games? Was it to maybe just give him a little bit of a rocket? I don't know. It's worked. Whatever was done, it has worked. The Oracle. I love watching him bowl. He is, look, I don't know Mohammad Shami that well as far as his off-the-field activities are concerned, but he just strikes me as a guy who is bowling fit. The more he bowls, the better he gets. And I don't think he's a massive gym person. I think he runs, and I think he's bowling fit. And that, to me, is a perfect combination. And boy, when he just lets that ball go, I mean, and he doesn't try and swing the ball. He lets it go bolt upright, and it either goes in or it goes out. And it doesn't matter which one it does, because it always is in and around that fifth stump line, jagging back in, moving away a little bit. He is just so good to watch. And yeah, look, he was special again tonight. Really good.
I just seeing Michael lost for words. Seeing Simon lost for words. It just shows what it means to him. But Joyda, I saw this. I think Ian Bishop had put up this tweet, and when someone like him praises Shami and said, "In a world of wobble seams, Shami is at masterclass with seam position." Yeah. You've known him since he was really young. Now you tell us honestly, Joyda, that put your hand out and tell us honestly. Did you see that he'd get this kind of greatness and become this kind of a bowler when you saw him when he was younger?
See, in 2011, it is interesting because when he came into the KKR outfit, Balaji was the bowler. And Shami at that point, I think the one reason he didn't play before Balaji was because Balaji is playing for India and Shami has started playing for Bengal about a year back, or not even a year back, a few matches back. But that's one thing I will tell you about him, no matter what the situation was, his self-belief has been there since the very start.
Wow.
He always believed he can get wickets. And he's always totally unfazed. Even today, when you see him, if you look at him celebrating, there are no wild celebrations, nothing. He's the calmest person you'll meet. And therefore, the great thing about him is it does not show whether he's got 5 wickets or not got a wicket, gone for runs. He's just completely unfazed. And that is the greatness of what he is. So he's very confident of his own abilities as a bowler. In fact, some captains, they turn around and they say that, we'll set a certain field and Shami may not bowl to the field. But Shami would say that Shami's response to that used to be that you've set this field for a particular reason and the batsman now anticipates this delivery. So I'm bowling this delivery because this is not what the batsman is anticipating. So somewhere, that's the way he plays. Shami is very much his own man. He's very much... So what you have to do with people like Shami is that they are very special, okay? And every fast bowler is a different category. I mean, there's something people call coaches fast bowlers. They're dreams for coaches, they're dreams for captains. Shami is very much a bowler who you toss the ball to and said, do your thing.
Yeah.
He's his own person, he'll do it for you. And he'll give you the results. And that's the one thing that, so many... They talk about coachability, this, that, all the rest of it. There's one thing bowlers have to do, get wickets. Yeah. The rest of it is all, you can put it all there, it doesn't matter. Shami is a wicket taker par excellence.
But just quickly, Joyda, you've seen him since he was young. Is it something where, he's just blessed with that seam position or something he's probably worked on over the years or just comes naturally?
I think he's worked on it, but he's just figured out that he doesn't have to tilt the ball at all to try and swing it. He doesn't move it around. He's figured out that as long as... And these types of conditions, when you just do enough, you don't have to do a lot.
Exactly.
And I think that's what he's grown up learning, is that if I let it go and it's seam upright, it might do this and it might do that. But if it does a little bit, it's only got to move that much to get from the middle to the edge of the bat. These little things. And, he's doing it at good pace as well. And I just think the more he gets overs under his belt, the more overs he bowls, the better he seems to get for me. He is a guy that just needs overs. He needs bowling. And yeah, as I say, just so enjoyable to watch. And I love his minimal celebrations, but I love his smile more than anything. I've had to interview him a couple of times after games, and he brings someone over to translate because he's really uncomfortable doing English, but he's always got a smile on his face, and he's just such a good character.
Well, someone who's quite opposite to how Shami celebrates is Siraj, because he does the Ronaldo and he does all of that, and he's another character, and he's someone who looked so charged up, it almost looked like he's taken off from the Asia Cup. He said, this is my game in Sri Lanka, I'm going to do it again.
Exactly. Starts off with a double wicket maiden. Bumrah goes and takes a wicket with the first ball. He says, I'm going to go and do it. And then I'll up that by taking a wicket with the fourth ball as well. And look, he's a very different kind of bowler. And what you like about him is, again, the number of unplayable deliveries he bowls. Again, straightening the ball up, that lethal in-swing inside, then allowing it to go away. He's got all the variations in the book. And what he tries to do, again, is that you notice towards the end, he was bowling a bouncer. So just get the batsman back a bit. Then again, bowl it full and try and get him on the pads or get... The thing about him, and again, he is, mind you, much more a coach's bowler. Yes. But he's also, by nature, again, an attacking bowler. So, look, and I think what's happened is, with Rohit has told his opening bowlers, I don't care if you go for runs. get me wickets, because India literally started off with 3 slips. And I think that's what they stayed with 3 slips almost throughout. And I think that is what you see about these bowlers. They have that ability, and their captain is backing them, and they've been told, don't worry, if the ball goes for 4, if there's an edge for 4, it doesn't matter. Go and get the wicket.
And I think that's a good point, because you go back to his inconsistencies, and I go back probably 2.5, 3 years in IPL cricket. His inconsistencies, and you saw glimpses of Mohammad Shami, of Mohammad Siraj being exceptional, but it was few and far between. He was a little bit wayward. He didn't know. He wasn't getting the backing, I don't think, that was required. And in the last 2 years, he's been one of the most improved bowlers in world cricket, I think. And he just he really is. He's a different type of bowler to Shami, where he's a bit more of a hustler. He's got a quick bouncer, uses it well, can swing the ball away from the right-handers. I mean, that first wicket just swung enough back into Karunaratne just to trap him on the pad. So he's got that ability. I think he loves bowling to left-handers.
Yeah, which is very rare for right-handers.
He's got that little three-quarter ball that goes across. He can swing it back in. But his improvement is a lot to do with what Joy has said. I think backing from the captain, wicket-taking deliveries, but he doesn't go searching as much as he used to. He used to search a lot for those wicket-taking balls. Now I think he's comfortable bowling a really good hard line and length and being quite consistent with it. And his backup might be the three-quarter one across the left-hander or the bouncer. But he doesn't bowl that ball and then the next ball and then a different ball. He can set a batsman up now. And I think that's a big thing for him in the last 2 years that I've noticed.
No, totally. And it's again, as we were talking about, it's clarity from a captain.
Yeah.
Which
Your
you said,
job-
he is a captain's bowler, coach's bowler.
Exactly. Your job is to take wickets, and when you're now secure in yourself that, okay, that's my job, a couple of 4s is not going to do it, then I'm not going to try 5 different things. Then I'm going to stick to my strengths. And I think this is also, look, let's savor it, let's enjoy it, because you're rarely going to have a situation where you're going to see 3 bowlers at their peak bowling together. You'll all, when Wasim was at his peak, okay, Waqar was injured for the 92 World Cup. By the time they came back, Waqar was not the same bowler. So you rarely see 2 great fast bowlers at their peak. You're seeing 3 great fast bowlers in this version of the game at their very peak. And that's something we should just savor and remember that this doesn't happen all the time.
No.
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen all the time. And when we say this is what the fast bowlers did, because it was a comprehensive win, like I said, we didn't need a new word in the dictionary, because you almost feel sorry for Sri Lanka. We've seen so many cool moments today. But let's have a look at what some of our fans have to say and tell us what their coolest moment of the match, powered by Voltas AC and Voltas Beko refrigerator, is. So let's have a look at a few of the tweets. So Akash says that the on drive from Virat Kohli, just perfect, isn't it? Coolest moment. Joyda, I mean, that on drive was, every time he hits a cover drive, on drive. But we have one more here. Chandra Banu Solanki says Siraj's first over, literally, wow. It's almost a
like
nicely done.
Wicket,
well
dot,
done.
wicket, dot, yeah.
I saw-
Wow. That's very good.
Yes, smartly used. If there is any other that we can look at, because they're very innovative ones coming up today. Arjun Mehta says, boom, boom, Bumrah. First ball, wicket. What a start for India. Coolest moment. Well, Arjun, I have to tell you that Simon, Joyda and everyone here at Cricbuzz Live agrees with you. You're completely spellbound by Bumrah, which is why he is the coolest moment of the match, powered by Voltas AC and Voltas Beko refrigerator. Simon almost jumped out of his chair when he saw that delivery to the first ball that Bumrah got Nissanka out. You were like this. You were like this, Simon.
It was just, we talk about it time and time. And if you're in a changing room, you've gone back in after scoring 357. What do we need to do? Okay, guys, we need to set the tone early here. There's the first 8-9 overs. I said it in the mid-show. They're going to be crucial. We have to get through these 8-9 overs. From an Indian point of view, who's going to set the tone for us? Jasprit, you're the man. Just perfect seam. I mean, he drew him into the shot that he was looking to play mid-on, at least, squared him up, all ends up, wrapped into that back pad. It was a stunning way to start. And, I mean, you could just hear that Mumbai crowd. I mean, we could hear it from here, from our studio. We're about, 10 kilometres away from it, I suppose. But it was phenomenal. And just the way he angled the ball in, it swung, kept on going. It was a proper delivery.
Joyda, thanks to the Voltas AC and Beko refrigerators, I have a cough, and we've been kept very cool in this studio. But the batsmen face the heat when Bumrah bowls to them. Is this the best version of Bumrah that we are seeing?
I think we're seeing a great, this is Bumrah at his best. He has been at his best before as well, but now he's at his best as leading a pack, an attack which is together a lethal attack, and that just is, it's a force multiplier. All three of them are feeding off each other, bowling off each other. And I was almost, I mean, in that over, two international batsmen, we're not talking about local batsmen, 3 times the batsman is turned around, you know, where it just looks so awkward, the batsman looks so silly. And these are international cricketers. They're not bad batsmen. They're top order batsmen for Sri Lanka. You know, to do that to batsmen on a consistent basis tells you, exactly, he's bowling close enough for them to have to try and play the ball, and he's getting them into the shot and then just moving it far away from them for them not to be able to connect or get a leading edge where one of them just popped in over his head. And I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing really very high class bowling. And, you know, I was feeling bad for Shami because Shami's mother today, you know, he'd be saying, Mum, you know, I got 5 wickets. And Shami's mother would be saying, but you know what? Bumrah and Siraj got a wicket with their first ball. You took 4 balls to get a wicket. You know, so if you want to nitpick, it's always there. But, you know, that's the quality of attack you're seeing.
But you know, if Simon, I asked you about this off air, but you have to share this with our viewers as well. It's impossible to pick him, right? Because he's got that ball now which goes outside as well. So I was asking you, how does a batter pick him?
It's very difficult. I mean, it's very subtle changes for Jasprit when he lets the outswinger go. All you'll see from the top of his wrist position is a little bit of this sort of movement, and that's the one that leaves the right-hander. And when he gets the one going back into the right-hander, you'll just see a little bit of that movement. So you'll basically see the wrist stay straight or just go a little bit to the left for the one that comes into the right-hander, or you'll see the wrist just go a little bit that way. Seam position is slightly different. It'll be facing towards fine leg for the right-hander for the one that goes away. It'll be facing towards first slip, almost for the one that comes back in. But the thing about Jasprit Bumrah is the speed radar might say 139, 140. We did a great piece on the TV the other night. He lets the ball go on average about 2 feet, let's say half a yard, in front of everybody else. So his arm, because he's got that hyperextension, his arm and his release is around about that far in front of a Stark, a Bolt, a Rabada, any of those other bowlers. So it actually hits you harder than you think. Although the speed gun might say similar around that 139, 140, it probably feels more like it's 145, 146 because he's gaining a half a yard towards the batsman. So it makes him so difficult to play. And, you know, I guess what he has had to do is had to prop up an attack. Before he's had to lead an attack without a lot of soldiers behind him. He's now got not only lieutenants, but he's got, you know, he's got a couple of commanders in behind him now. He's not just leading; he's actually got a real pack with him now. And it's good to watch. It's nice for him, I'm sure, that he is not having to do everything.
Yes. Well, that Nissanka delivery, you actually feel bad for Nissanka, but which is why that was the coolest moment of the match, powered by Voltas AC and Voltas Beko refrigerator for us. I don't even know if we should go and look at the batting card. Because it almost feels like my report card after school. And my parents, I used to just not want to show it to my parents. But Simon.
It's an American phone number, isn't it? 001 0112 0012.
Yeah, no, this is a Peking restaurant, Beijing restaurant. Peking duck, very good recipe, 5 of them out there. So that's the main course on the menu.
It is, but I mean, I don't even know what we talk. Like I said, you just feel sorry for them because we had all this debate, this discussion lined up saying that, you know, Sri Lanka's opening has been a problem and then they got De Silva out. And, you know, I thought I'll ask you all these questions and get analytical about it. But what do you say? What do you say to this batting
card? It's a great
card?
sign on that scoreboard. I think was it Sri Lanka, 1 from 24.
Yeah.
That's a point of the relentless pressure. Yeah, Sri Lanka, 1 from 24 balls, excuse me. That's quite incredible. I'm going to go. You talk.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you know. And that's exactly what happened. There was so much pressure. And if you notice, that's when Shami comes on. That's the over Shami comes on. There's the 4th ball of Shami. And he's just cannot, he was trying his best to get Siraj away, cannot get Siraj away, cannot get Bumrah away. Finally, Shami comes up. The first ball that he thinks he can hit, he hits it straight to Ravindra Jadeja. Perhaps that's the one dismissal where it went straight to the fielder. That's perhaps the one dismissal where it's the batsman who just hit a shot and it just went there. The other one you could say is the one that gloved off, which,
The leg side one.
which left eye glove off, which is one of those unfortunate things that just happened.
Great review though as well.
Oh, it was a fantastic
Yes, the
review
Kher
from Rahul.
Brilliant review.
Because nobody believed him.
No,
Yes.
nobody
Everyone
thought.
looked around and said,
No, but Simon, it almost feels like that Asia Cup 50 all out. It feels like, okay, they've gone past their own record. They've not broken their own record. The only positive there. But how does a team on a serious note come out of something like this? Because it's going to scar them for a long time to come.
Yeah, well, it also gives them, when they come up against that side, against India, that's the problem. And next time that happens, and who knows when that will be, but that's the problem you have when you come up against sides that continually beat you or they actually demoralise you. And then and certain bowlers, the same thing. You come up against certain bowlers who have your number or have the wood on you, and that's exactly what Shami's doing. That's exactly what Siraj is doing to them at the moment. It's a tough one to bounce back from, and they have to try and bounce back from it. But God, it's incredibly difficult to come back. And the last two games, to be honest, because as I said earlier, they were really uninspiring in that game against Afghanistan. They showed no intent with the bat whatsoever, and limped to a score that Afghanistan chased down in a heartbeat, in no time at all. So their last two performances from Sri Lanka have been really ordinary after the England win. Was it? They beat England.
Yes, they beat England.
Really well.
Yes.
And then have just put in two very limp performances post that. So that will be the concern for Chris Silverwood and the coaching staff, I think.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, and also, again, I go back to this whole point that how do, when we talk about limited overs cricket, people get wickets because people are trying to force the pace and score runs. Here, because of the way the game started, nobody was trying to score runs. They were just trying to survive. So what you've actually seen is, it's literally like a test match, 3 slips in, I'm going to try and take wickets, and the batsman is not thinking of scoring runs. He's not thinking of 357, leave alone. He's not thinking of 100, leave alone 357. He's just thinking, can I stay here another 2 overs? Can I stay here another 3 overs? So that's the thing that you're doing. They were not trying to get the runs.
Yeah.
They were trying to just get a respectable score. That's it. Just survive in the crease. We don't want to get out in 10 overs. How long can we play? That's the mentality they were playing with.
All right, it's a 302-run win for India. Let's have a look at what happens in that net run rate column. We'll have a look at the points table because it's a massive win and India has really jumped up on that net run rate column, Joyda, and that queue. The queue looks so pretty next to India at number 1 there.
No, it's absolutely. And look, even before this, the kind of permutations we had for India not to reach after getting 6 wins they're the theatre of the absurd, as I call it. It would have been a queue before that as well. But I think what's happened is now India is safe to say that India is looking very difficult to dislodge from the top spot unless this India-South Africa one, literally that's now deciding number 1. And then, of course, South Africa has to beat another team and India has to the run rate has to add up. But remember, South Africa's run rate is as good as India.
Yes.
So this is going to be a fight for number 1, which means that is basically going to decide where the situation with India. Because see, if Pakistan qualifies, Pakistan can only qualify at 4. They can't qualify above that. What does that mean? That means that the only situation where they play, where India does not play, if India moves to 2nd place, they're definitely playing in Mumbai. No matter what happens.
1 or 2 or whatever the number is, Simon, do you think that India is really looking at like the most dangerous team this World Cup? Even with South Africa, when they chase, you feel like, okay, we can say they could have a bad day, but with India, they just have seemed pretty...
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think, the bowling attack and the batting lineup, now that Shreyas and Shubman have scored runs, I think they were the slight missing parts. Always said, and we said before the show today, before the game today, that the bowling attack is as good as any, if not better than any in the tournament at the moment. So they certainly look like the team to beat. And, I know we always sit back and sometimes we say, oh, can you win all your games in the round robin and then go on to win it? It must be difficult. Someone mentioned it last night in the commentary box. We were down in Pune and Ricky Ponting said, well, hang on a minute. We won about 30 games in a row at a World Cup or whatever they won when they won their back-to-back World Cup. So it's not impossible. You can continually win if you're a good side. And that Australian side proved that they were such a good side. And they just kept winning. They went through World Cup after World Cup without losing a game. So there's nothing wrong with going through unbeaten at all if you're playing really good cricket. They are, they're looking like a high quality side. Is there a batting side in the tournament that can test them? Yes, South Africa can. I think they are the only ones I think that can test them. But again, as you said, and I agree, they have to bat first.
I also am thinking that the interesting, perhaps a good thing for India and for South Africa as well, is that if India South Africa is a virtual 1 and 2, which it's going to be, what it does mean is they don't play each other in the semis.
In the semis, yes.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, there could be an upset, but that means whatever, one will end up 1, one will end up 2, they will at least both have a chance of reaching the finals. And I think that's good for the tournament. Forget about what else it means. I think it's good for the tournament.
Joyda, I'm going to take the courage and ask you this question. Today is the 2nd of November at the Wankhede Stadium. Can India do a 2nd of April, what we did at the Wankhede Stadium? Do you see, or do you think it's what happens on that day when it reaches the big day?
I think this is as good a side as you can find. It's in as good a form as you can find. It's a rare combination of the two. The only side close to this is South Africa. And unfortunately, this is not a league. If this is a league, I would have said India would win this league because I think they're a more consistent team. But unfortunately, there are knockout matches and nobody can say what happens in knockout. But this is as good a chance as we've ever had.
Okay, so you all have heard it from Professor Joy Bhattacharya himself. We'll hold you to it, Joyda. But I think now we need to look at what's happening tomorrow, because a team that I'm really rooting for is playing Netherlands. Afghanistan take on Netherlands in Lucknow. And Simon, I was rooting for this team because I always like that underdog story. And Afghanistan have, won 3 games. They've lost 3 games. Netherlands, on the other hand, has won their last game against Bangladesh. But Afghanistan still has their hopes high because they need to win 2 games out of 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're a really good side now, and they've taken got rid of that bogey off their back as far as chasing a total is concerned. You always thought with Afghanistan, runs on the board and put enough runs on the board, their spinners could take control of games, and that's how they won a lot of their games in the early days. And that, they were in World League Cricket. They were in the 5th division of World League Cricket in something like 11 years ago, whatever it was. And they've just climbed the ranks steadily. But you always felt that they would put runs on the board and then Rashid and Mujib and Nabi could take control of the game through the middle. Now they've actually been able to chase scores. And they've chased them really well. Twice. And the skipper's been not out as well. And they've done it like 2 down, 3 down, 4 down. They haven't done it 8 down, 9 down. So they've given themselves some belief. I had a good chat to Hashmatullah Shahidi after the game the other night, not only in the interview, but I said to him after, I said, what's sort of changed for you guys? He said, there's some real clarity. They're really enjoying what Jonathan Trott has to offer and how calm and cool he is, but they're also enjoying our man, Ajay. He's really, he said he had great words about Ajay Jadeja. He said what he's told us and taught us about batting in the subcontinent, just the little things that he's adding to our batting lineup have made a big difference. They didn't have seam bowlers. It really didn't, quality of seam bowling was a little bit below par. Fazalak Farooqi swings the ball. He's going well. Naveen, so they've got a few more parts to their puzzle now that they haven't had in the previous years, and I think that has made a massive difference.
No, absolutely, and you see, that's the problem. 2 things. One is that they've never had chasing. They've never been able to chase. Secondly, Zadran, the kind of runs that they've now got from the middle order, they've never got before that. And that's big. Secondly, Naveen ul Haq and Fazal Haq Farooqi have never bowled consistently well together. You either one is bowled well or the other. Fazal Haq Farooqi in the Asia Cup, he couldn't finish his overs. There's not a single match in which he finished his overs. So you are suddenly talking about both of them have calmed down, both of them have settled down. And I think just like India is looking, say, and thinking that we are on the verge of greatness, chance at a title, they are looking at themselves and say, hold on, we are 3 and 3. We have a chance to get to a knockout in a World Cup. That is incredible. To be in the knockout in a 50-over World Cup from where they've come is absolutely incredible.
But Simon, you think we'll see Noor Ahmed coming in tomorrow? Lucknow, the pitch favours spinners?
Yeah, I think so. They went with Noor 2 games ago and he proved successful. They left Fazal Haq out. They left Fazal Haq. They played Naveen and they left Fazal Haq Farooqi out in that game and they brought Noor in. I also think that probably against the Netherlands, Noor Ahmed is probably going to be more difficult for them to play. They've seen Fazal Haq a lot over the last, these guys have played against each other a lot in the last few years. So I think Noor is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for them to face. I thought he bowled beautifully. He was unlucky not to keep his spot, but they've gone with horses for courses. And so I get that, but that would be the one change I would look at.
I totally agree because, again, left arm, leg break bowler, how many of them do you face in international cricket? Of that quality, you don't face. Associate nations don't face that quality of bowling. And therefore, anything like that, anything which is slightly different, is a quantity that, Netherlands will find difficult to face. So they'll definitely throw the dice and probably play with Noor.
Well, we'll move on to Netherlands because they've been another inspiring story, and they've beaten South Africa. They beat Bangladesh in their last game. So both these teams coming in very confident. Of course, Afghanistan with those 2 wins under their belt. But Netherlands also, has been performing very well. So they both coming in with confidence, Simon.
Yeah, and huge carrots for these sides. I mean, we heard the other day, outside of Pakistan, the other 7 teams, the top 7 teams, qualify for the Champions Trophy. There's a huge bonus on the cards for some of these teams. England may have to go through qualifying for the Champions Trophy. It's unbelievable to think of. But that's the carrot dangled in front of Afghanistan and Netherlands. If they don't have to go through a qualifying for a Champions Trophy, it would be unbelievable. So, it's a massive thing for the Netherlands side. They have improved as well. They're playing a lot better cricket. They're just not quite getting the runs at the top. They've had to be rescued time and time again by the skipper, by Doull, Logan van Beek at times. They're not getting the quality of runs at the top that has been the issue for them. Their bowling, Aryan Dutt has been a revelation, really good. And I think the addition of Cyber and Engelbrecht has done a really good, played a really good role for them. He's got runs, he's a gun in the field. So, again, they're a side that's led very well. I've been impressed with Scott Edwards.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's such a good captain.
Good captain, bats at that very crucial position, 5 or 6, trying to hold the team together. I think the point with Netherlands is I think they're fundamentally a better fast bowling attack. They bowl well, and their fast bowlers bowl well. And Aryan coming in and giving them overs both up front and in the middle means that they have a decent bowling attack. If they're batsmen, Vikramjit has not given them that much up front. If a few of the batsmen, no doubt, Vikramjit start giving them starts, they need starts. They need consistent starts because otherwise what they're doing is they're leaving their captain in the middle order too much to do. Engelbrecht has done good work for them, but they just need to get better starts. I don't see, for a match like this, I expect Van der Merwe probably, if he's fit, they might give him a shout because, he's the kind of player who will be very useful under these conditions. Again, can spin, can bowl, will bat at 7-8, whack the ball a bit.
But do you think he'll drop Max O'Dowd because they've given him quite a long run?
No, I think Shari's Khan will go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so your players to watch out for because we'll get to...
Well, I think Noor, if he's coming in, absolutely. I think he'll cause a little bit of havoc for this Dutch side if he comes into play. If he doesn't come into play, probably go back to... maybe Nabi. I just think the way Nabi's bowled and controlled those middle overs. His batting is not quite what it was. He's not quite providing the batting that he has done, but I just think his nous, the grandfather of Afghanistan cricket, his nous and his bowling through those middle overs has been superb. So he would be my man to watch out for. And Engelbrecht, as far as the Netherlands are concerned, just what he's brought to that side in the field, he's been terrific. He's one of the few ambidextrous guys in world cricket at the moment, throws equally as well with left and right, and he's provided really good runs for them at crucial times.
For me, Scott Edwards definitely captain, played, he's just by far the most experienced cricketer, not just in sense of, there are more experienced international cricketers, but what he's done for Netherlands and the way his county cricket experience, the way he plays and the position he plays, I think he's very important to them. For me, I feel it's important that Cricbuzz gets runs because this is, again, Netherlands is in many ways for me a lot like New Zealand. You beat them, they don't beat themselves. You'll beat them. They're not a great side, but they're a scrappy side. They'll always fight for whatever they have, and you have to go and do the job of beating them. And I think that's why I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, so you all have heard it then. We've got the predictions in on who the players to watch out for are for tomorrow. I'm not going to be there, but I'm going to watch the show to see if any of these players play and then think of both of you all very fondly. But we should now go to doing what you're here for, Joyda, getting answers to your questions. So it's all yours. because
So
I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, okay. In which specific domestic cricket list is Rohit Sharma the first, Rajat Bhatia the third, and Ruturaj Gaikwad the most recent? Again, this is a question that might change in the next 7 days. I'm now asking time limit questions. And the answer is these are centuries in the Mushtaq Ali tournament, which is happening at time. So the first ever century in the Mushtaq Ali was Rohit Sharma in 2007. And a few, that very year, Rajat Bhatia got one for Delhi as well. Rajat Bhatia was quite an international batsman. I mean, quite a big domestic batsman. Could whack it.
Surprisingly, I haven't been tagged in too many answers today. So maybe this was a difficult one. I don't attempt it, but let's see who's got it correct.
Shaurya Pandey, I think I've seen his name. If he's born on the 25th of December, he shares his birthday with Father Christmas. But I wonder if that's what it is. But yeah, well done, Shaurya. So the only reason I'm saying this question is up for because the current Shahid Mushtaq Ali tournament is on. So somebody could just hit a century in the semi-finals or finals and this question will change. The latest part at least will change, definitely. Ruturaj will not be there any longer.
So, I suddenly thought of asking because we had a winner in the prediction game in the first innings. I don't know what happened in the second innings. Did we have?
Yeah, we had a prediction game. How much were you at?
No, see, I don't want to win all the time.
Why
right?
did you raise it?
I didn't
You were
want
in a
to-
nice position
Yes.
where you've just won one thing. You could have just got away with the high moral ground that I've won it. And
I think your prediction was the final score.
See,
Wasn't it?
It was.
Didn't you have 55 or 54 or something for the?
So, I mean,
for the
so
power
she,
play?
she had got.
I got it right. I just got the question wrong.
Yeah, got
I
the
just
question wrong. Yeah,
wrong.
got the question wrong. Not the.
But that happens,
Yeah, just
in
got the
maths
question
it often
wrong.
happens. You get the answer right and then everyone says, okay, fine. It doesn't matter.
Actors-
Show me the working out.
actors,
No, no working out.
improv, Actors, just improv.
Improv.
Just off the cuff. It's just,
But
I
thank you, Simon, because I'd forgotten that was my prediction.
We have never spent so much time discussing scores before she managed to get one right. Then we hear it for about 400 times. I just, the actors and modesty, they're like, two ships passing in the night.
Well, I am just trying to learn from all the seniors here at Cricbuzz Live. I'm just trying to learn, but my humble pie didn't reach in time for me to eat it. That was the problem. That was the problem, right?
That was the real problem.
Anyway, it just feels really, really nice to have a game which is so quick, especially when India is on the winning side. Unlike what happened yesterday, but when India's on the winning side, it always
there
feels
she goes
very
again.
nice.
Just another dagger.
But I'm sure you have a very early morning flight, like always.
Off to Bangalore tomorrow for the New Zealand-Pakistan, which now becomes a massive game.
New
New Zealand-Pakistan,
Yeah.
which is the day after, becomes a huge game. So New Zealand have to find a way to bounce back, and Pakistan are on a bit of a roll. They just sort of seem to be coming right at the back end of the tournament, which is something they do so often.
No, but it was, look, why is it happened this way? Where are they playing?
Bangalore.
Then I don't know how good the Bangalore biryani is. Wherever their cities they played in, which biryani is famous, Hyderabad, Calcutta, the record is 3-0. My co-author Abhishek has told me this, and we track biryani all over the place. If the biryani is not great, they don't play well.
So Simon, you know what you have to do. You have to make sure that there's no good biryani when you go. That's your job. That's what you
Okay.
need to do. We wish you all the very best for day after. And Joyda, you are off also for a few days, but we'll be seeing you very soon. And we'll be seeing you all very soon because we'll be here tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. So don't forget to join us. It's an early wrap today. It's all of 9:12, so you can go out, have some dinner, go and party, and we'll see you tomorrow at 1:30. Good night and goodbye.